Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Toon Review, where tonight, of course, it is the Newcastle United versus Manchester City. Some are calling it the Oil Derby. Some of us are just wanting to get on with it. We'll go through some transfers as well a bit later on. We've got a guest from the Man City side of things. So great show to go ahead with. This is the Toon Review. Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Toon Review. Hope everybody is well on this Thursday night ahead of the big game on Sunday, which is, of course, a 4:30 p.m. kickoff between Newcastle United and Manchester United at the Great Geordie Temple, in which you will be able to get full live commentary from Billy Bob Coleman. Indeed. A lot's gone on since we were last on air, and of course, some people are happy, some people are pissed off, some people are just damn well frustrated with what's going on. A second bid for João Pedro has been rejected this afternoon by Watford as we continue our bid to bring somebody in. We'll come to that a bit later on because obviously we want to get a Man City side of things as well. We've got Carl coming on in a second. We'll just go through a couple of comments before we get going. Ranier with woof woof, his normal start. There was... Indeed, I think he's half dog. Tom, good evening. Second bid for João Pedro rejected. Len, not very happy with that. Pedro, good evening, you beautiful people on this wonderful Thursday. I hope your spirits are high. You're going to need them. Good evening from Julie. Welcome to the Toon Review. Please click the like, subscribe, and join the Toon Review. Pedro says, what's going on with these bids? Do Newcastle actually want to buy players? It's a bit late in the window to be dilly-dallying around. Come on, pull your finger out. So Pedro clearly frustrated. Jules says, road to 14,000 is on. Show some love. Keep it respectful and friendly. No all caps or duplicates. Second bid went in from Pedro. Come on, just pay the bloody money. We need players. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're well. Evening, Carl. Diane, good evening. Looking forward to the show as always. And can I just say, Diane is going to the match on Sunday. Daniel decided, Diane got in touch after the fan forum on Tuesday night and explained why she couldn't actually get back on to say she was there. I then got in touch with Daniel, sent Daniel the information, and Daniel unbelievably turned around and said, give it to Diane. After what she's been through, because of what she's been through, which we'll not get into, but she has had a few problems. Daniel amazingly turned around and said, please give it to Diane. She, it's something she'll need to cheer her up. So fantastic gesture from Daniel. Daniel will be getting some merch from us as well for nothing for his gesture, because it was absolutely fantastic. So Diane will be going to the game on Sunday, and she's meeting me outside the ground for the ticket. So looking forward to meeting her, and congratulations again, Diane, and marvellous gesture from Daniel. Ronald, thank you for your £5 super chat. He's put ticket in the comments and a laughing emoji. Nice try, my friend, but thank you very much. You started all that rigmarole on Tuesday night, but we'll not go into that. Pedro says only 14 days left till the window closes. If we don't get at least 2 new faces in by the end of next week, I think Newcastle will do a wood and panic buy. Troll says, I don't think it will happen at all. Not if we...
If we lost Bruno,
I would hate the club to the max. I don't think that's even going to happen as well, to be honest. Travoy, good evening. Ramos is an awesome player and one for the future. Can push Wilson all the way. And Ramos sign him. Forget about Pedro. Don't understand why we're wasting money on a championship player. Interesting. Steven says, if we don't buy now, and it looks like we are odds on for European football next year, we could tempt some good deals in January. Troll says, we had a long time to get a striker, and what frustrates me is that we have clearly needed a striker to compete with Wilson and up his game or take his place if better, and we still haven't got one yet. Again, frustrated. Nottingham Forest have just agreed a deal worth a staggering £44 million. Why are we not spending? Well, listen, we can't use Nottingham Forest as an example. I refuse to use Nottingham Forest as an example, simply because, listen, Gibbs White is not worth £44 million. Never in a million blue moons is he. And Nottingham Forest have had their eyes pulled out. But listen, that's their business. If they go down, they are in serious shit next season. There is no doubt about that. So, but listen, good luck to them if they want to. They're trying, aren't they? You can't say that they haven't come up and made an effort to stay up. Unlike some of the yo-yo clubs in the past, are just happy to spend a season in the Premier League and go down again. At least they're giving it a go. So. Yeah, Carl's disappeared. We'll bring him on in just a second. He's back in his seat now. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening,
How are you?
Good evening, Carl.
Absolutely fine. Thank you very much for having me.
And whereabouts in the world are you tonight, Carl?
I'm in the USA and the East Coast,
Wow.
Washington, D.C. It's
Washington, D.C. There you go. Now, obviously, you're a big, you do a Man City podcast and YouTube as well, which you do with some other guys who obviously put me in touch with yourself. You watch Manchester City a lot. I get to see you get all the games over there anyway, so you probably... are you happy with the start they've made? Signings, are you happy with those as well?
I watch all the games, mate. I watch all Newcastle games. I watch as much games as I can. My Saturdays start at 7 a.m. in the morning and end at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm watching as many games as possible, sometimes with 2 laptops up. But I do make it a point to watch Newcastle because growing up as a kid, I remember Faustino Aspia. I remember Ginola. I remember all those guys playing, and they always had a buzz about them and the way that they played, which was, I just felt that they're a great team. And so, there's also a soft side of Newcastle that I have to me, mate. But in terms of the signings, I can't complain, mate. Yeah, Holland, Phillips, Alvarez. I mean, Sergio Gomez, left back, finally, left back, a proper left back, and a goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper. I mean, what can you say, man? I can't complain. I'm just looking forward to the season starting.
I mean, you've heard obviously a few comments already from the Newcastle side of things, and of course, you guys went through when you were taken over by the billionaires, so to speak. Can you just explain what it was like as a City fan? Because you guys did it slowly as well, didn't you? You just didn't go out and spend billions straight away. You brought in a couple of marquee signings like Robinho, etc. When you were first getting started. Were you frustrated at the time it took, or can you look back now and understand what it was all about and sort of just put our minds at rest really about what we're doing?
Right, so I'm in the fortunate position of I'm one of the fans who started supporting the club probably in 2008 when they were taking over. Before then, I watched games. I didn't really pick anyone. I just like watching games. I mentioned Newcastle in the past. So my perspective was, okay, something's happening here. We have new owners who are investing. I like this. Let's see what happens. But I do recognize that it takes an investment to start off with, and you kind of build and scale up. Now, the bridge of FFP has been drawn up. So the heavy investment that we made back then is not what you expect to do now with Newcastle because of FFP, the constraints that you have. Having said that, I think you guys have done well. Let's not forget, everybody, okay? When Eddie Howe came in, Newcastle were bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Since Eddie Howe's coming in January, right, Newcastle have been now probably top, I think second or third in the league in terms of form. Let's not forget that. Okay, so the remarkable change from being 19th, 20th in the league all the way to being 11th last year, for the whole season is a remarkable turnaround. And that's what I said in a Newcastle pod recently. I said, I believe you guys should push for at least a top 7 place. Yeah, it sounds hilarious, it sounds crazy, but based on the form guide, the data is there. The data is there. And for us, again, I'm just happy with the signings. Let them bet in, let them play their game, and let's see what happens in the Premier League and the Champions League.
Alex, it's like listening to a stateside version of yourself.
Indeed, yeah. And logic, we need a bit of logic and perspective. I mean, I'm pretty embarrassed by a lot of the comments I'm reading so far. We're still third. Since January the 1st, we're still third in the league for points per game. Gibbs White with the 45 mil offer. Anthony Gordon, they're asking for 50. We are not going to get taken for mugs in these bidding wars. We're going to pay what we want, and we're going to do it our way. And if it doesn't work this window, there's probably a lot of people are going to be frustrated by that. But I'm going to trust the process and be patient. And I believe they will push through a couple of transfers in the window, and I think they're doing it the right way. Does it mean we won't get stung long term? So I'm fine with this, and I think a lot of people are really underrating João Pedro as well. It's a bit cruel calling him a championship player. Like, there's no grounds for that. He's a really young lad who made 15 starts. He wasn't the reason they went down. Like, it's very uneducated to say that, is in terms of you've not watched enough football. How many people have come from the Championship and are really good in the Premier League? It's just a ridiculous statement. It's not something that should be said anymore, especially with, there's players in Liverpool squad who've come from the Championship and won Champions League.
I agree.
Titles.
To an extent.
What is that about?
I think it's the money, Alex. I think it's, Danielle, 30 million quid. It's a lot of money that Watford are wanting, and we've gone in. We've gone in twice now and haven't bid what Watford have asked for. Where do you stand on it?
Like I said,
and everybody's going to have different opinions, Danielle, so don't worry to stress yours, because I think you're on the same kind of level as I am.
Yeah, I feel like my head's gone. Like that's how I feel right now. Like in the back of my head, I'm taken back to January, where we're like, where are the goals going to come from? And since then, we haven't signed any forward players really in terms of anyone that's going to score a goal. Obviously, we signed Chris Wood, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to penalties, he's all right, but everything else is not. I am a little bit worried about the situation. I'm going to be really honest. I worry about Callum and his fitness. But at the same time, this is why my head's gone, is I believe in the owners and I believe in the project, and I know they've got the right people in. I just, at the moment, can't see why we're arguing over 5 million or 3 million or whatever it is. Like, I don't know. Like I say, I just think the time's ticking down now to the 1st of September. And I think, we really, really have to get somebody in as backup or a competition for Callum, really. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm worrying for nothing, and I hope in a week's time we've got somebody, but I'm just a little bit concerned if we're niggling over 5 million.
Yeah. Go on, Carl.
If I may, from a City's perspective, remember the Cucurella deal?
Yeah.
Right. So we can help you guys out in here. So one thing you have to recognize about owners from that part of the world, the Middle East, is that they won't be taken for mugs. They will not. Right? If there's been an agreement between clubs and they say, hey, we're going to get him for 25 million, agreed, man to man or girl to girl talk, and they've shaken hands on it, and they go back in and you change the price, they will walk away. They will walk away. The deal for Cucurella was supposed to be 45, 35, 40 million. That was the agreement. We go in, and then Brighton says, no, it's going to be 55 because Chelsea wants to bid him, and then it becomes 60. City will walk. They all have a plan B or a plan C. These guys are very smart. They don't just have billions because they're mugs. They know what they're doing, right? So my advice to Toon fans is be patient, trust the process. Be patient, trust him. If you don't get him, it's because your club doesn't believe he's worth that money. They will find somebody else to get.
Yeah.
That would
the total with add-ons for Ekitike was 35. So we got that.
Sergio Gomez, left back, right, last week for 10 million quid. 10 million quid. Now Pep will turn him into a superstar. Eddie Howe will find an extra replacement and turn him into a player. Trust the process. Spending the money, throwing the money around sometimes sets you up for future problems where anybody can jack the price up and then you kind of come running to it.
And look at City's model now with Alvarez and the price they get Haaland for and that new fullback. They're not paying absolute bank anymore. They're spending smart and they're walking away from deals to set a precedent so they don't have to pay £50 million per player anymore. And it's working. And there are a lot of Bayern Munich do similar, albeit in a different league. But there are ways you can keep you don't have to do it the Chelsea way and just throw 40 to 60 at everything that walks.
Yeah, I think Billy, when we look at it, I think a lot of it is still euphoria from the takeover and thinking, God, look how much money we've got. We can go and compete with the Man Cities of the world now. And people are expecting maybe that to happen overnight when quite clearly that's not the case. And Carl's made some very good points there about trusting the process. Is it time that maybe we just take a seat, just relax and just let this transfer window play out and see what happens? I mean, there's still a couple of weeks left. So on the flip side of it, we're clearly after players. We've clearly identified the positions that we need. But somebody put in the comments before that the positions that we're looking to reinforce, you've got to spend the big bucks because players don't come cheap in those positions. So where are you on it?
Well, selling clubs know that we're desperate for attacking players, and so there's a premium on top of it for that as well. How far will they get? How far can they push us to see how much money we'll spend? We've been trying to do the dance halfway. We've been lowballing. Clubs have been highballing. We wanted to do the dance in the middle. Clubs know that we're not, that we'll come back for more because we're desperate for attacking players. We need a striker. We need a right-sided winger. I think the clubs know that. They know that we're going to be desperate at some stage. And as the window closes, I think they might even put prices up. And then we may look elsewhere. But we'll get the players in. I've got no doubt about it. Absolutely not. We'll get the 2 quality players in. And they're the 2 we need.
Carl, if we look at the start Man City have made, obviously the Charity Shield or the Community Shield, it's known now, was a bit of a confusing one for me because Liverpool haven't exactly hit the ground running in their Premier League openers, and you guys have. Were you a bit worried after the Community Shield, or were you just thinking, well, this is just it's another friendly? Realistically, the big games start when the Premier League kicks off.
Mate, I didn't even watch the game, mate. That's how serious I take the Community Shield. It's a glorified friendly. It really isn't. I think the season starts when you see the first game of the Premier League weekend. That's when it starts, right? Remember, United beat Liverpool 4-0 in preseason. Well, guess what? Brighton dumped them out 2 weeks ago, and then last week, Brentford really just took them apart. So it's a glorified friendly. Liverpool will be there. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team. They will challenge again for the season. They've lost when they've drawn 2 games, dropped 4 points, but there's still 108 points to play for. So they'll be there. We have to be wary. So
where Haaland, of course, I mean, he scored, that second goal against West Ham. I mean, that was the way he just turned his body as he was sort of dragging the ball and then playing it in the bottom corner with his left foot. Of course, he didn't get on the score sheet last week. But is he the final piece of the jigsaw for City, do you think? Because, outside looking in, a lot of pundits have said that it's a position.
There are 2 perspectives on this, right? I mean, people talk about him being the final piece of the jigsaw, but the truth is that they won 2 league titles without a number 9. Yeah. So if you have 2 titles without a number 9, what part are you missing? The missing part is when in the big games, like against Real Madrid in the Champions League game at home at the Etihad, where we had 8 chances, could have been 4 or 5 or 6-0. We didn't take those chances. I think in those games, that's when Erling Haaland hopefully helps us. Mm-hmm. But over 38 games over the league season, the system itself proves itself because they know how to play it. False 9, wingers, Haaland deep. It'll work. And Haaland is a piece of the puzzle, but he's not the only one to fix the puzzle, if you would. That's my perspective. The game against Bournemouth last weekend, he gave the assist to Gundogan because he was triple marked. So if you mark him, it creates space for other players to walk in. And because they know how to play that false 9 system, De Bruyne scores a goal.
Can I just mention Haaland, that assist as well? In 74 minutes he was on the pitch. He made 2 passes, just 2. One of them was an assist.
Yeah.
Well, it's what he's capable of. I mean, obviously, where is your main engine room, do you think? I mean, you look at De Bruyne, Gundogan, I think, is a very, very underrated player. I mean, I know you've got Gundalorian as your Twitter handle. I mean, are you a fan of him? I mean, for me, he's the underrated cog in the engine room for Man City.
So the name Gundalorian comes from the 2020-2021 season where he took us literally to win the league. And that year was the year The Mandalorian from Disney came out. Remember The Mandalorian, Star Wars? So right, Gundogan and Mandalorian combined both, and it was Gundalorian. I thought, it just occurred to me as watching it because I love The Mandalorian. I think it's just funny, it's exciting, it's just comical, right? It's unserious, but it's enjoyable. But Gundogan is underrated. I mean, Gundogan was the same guy who won us the league last year against Aston Villa. Remember, 2 goals in like 5 minutes. He's the same guy who took us to the league title the year before. He's an underrated player, and I doff my cap to him because he always shows up. That's why now this season he's the captain, and he deserves to be so. I mean, City they've bought well, they've spent well, sold well, and I think that's the model that I think Newcastle fans have to be patient about. Build to be sustainable over time, get the right players in, and build upon what the success of last year. Get to Europe this year, and then build upon that, and you'll be successful.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, we have to aspire to that. We have to, Danielle. We have to, as Newcastle United now, look at what Man City have done, since their takeover and build. Now, there is very, very much in the chat a mix and match of opinions. There's no doubt about that. Some people are flat out frustrated. Some people are saying, let's just, cool down here. It's not embarrassing to have an opinion. I'm sorry. I just, if you're frustrated and you're a Newcastle fan, then that's fine. For me, it's not embarrassing because it's your opinion and it's how you're feeling right now. So, who is anybody to tell you not to feel frustrated? Alex isn't frustrated because he's cool as a cucumber all the time.
He calms it all down, to be fair.
He doesn't. The man doesn't even sweat, for God's sake. He just, he puts on his Clark Kent glasses.
I do think
and he
it's a
turns
bit
into
embarrassing.
stone.
You've got people whinging at Dan Ashworth already.
No, I agree with that.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that is embarrassing. I agree with that.
He's probably not even got his desk right yet.
Give him the owners, etc. I agree, and Danielle, you know that you agree with that. It's a load of tosh. You don't do that. It's ridiculous. But having an opinion about getting a little bit frustrated in the transfer window, that's fine. But there's a level you take it to. I'm frustrated. I'll be openly honest. When I seen that other bid for today for Pedro rejected, I'm thinking, for God's sake, just go and buy something. Go and put the money in front of them and just buy him. Get a player in, get the morale up for the City game. Because at the minute, the way I see it, and I've said it before, our starting 11 can give anybody a game. And our starting 11 against City will give them a good game. But as soon as we need to make changes, that's where the difference will show, because City have world class to replace world class. We have a quality first 11, but then Pound Stretcher coming on as substitutes, and that isn't going to work, and that's where the difference will be.
I just think we can't put the ball in the back of the net, and we don't always. When we played Forest, for example, we had numerous chances and we just couldn't do it. Like that's screaming to me. We need more up front. And that's my concern. I think our defence is the best it's been for a long, long time. Again, midfield, Big Joe, Bruno, they've got a really lovely relationship. They really, play well. If one's not playing and the other one is, you don't quite see the true player. But it's just a final, like Alex says, we just can't finish with dinner sometimes, and that's my concern. But I get it, because when the takeover happened, and I was going crazy saying let's go raid the top 6 and take all the players and stuff. You
were a bit drunk that night, to be fair, Danielle. It's fine.
No, you're allowed to dream, and you're allowed to say, look, we've had so many years of misery. We just want a bit of joy, and we want to enjoy this moment. But then I think some people just probably haven't really come down from that moment, and the expectation is that we want to get there as quickly as we can, which I understand. But it's a 5 to 10 year plan, and teams like Manchester City are so far ahead of us in terms of their project, which you've got to respect.
I don't want us to turn into. I mean, I know we've got a City fan, and I apologise if it's offensive, but I don't want to be one of these clubs that is. The Carabao Cup's the Cabbage Cup, and it's not a real cup. And this, I hate all of that. We'll take what we can.
City, they've never treated the Carabao Cup like that because they've won it so many bloody times.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean. It's just generally, it's to respect the tradition, the history, the fact that it is the elite league in the entire country out of hundreds of thousands of footballers that play all over the country.
Yeah,
it's the pinnacle, and to get anything near any of those is an outstanding achievement. And I don't want us to become entitled as a fan base, and if we're going to be mocked, fair enough, but I don't want us to be mocked for that. I don't want us to turn into what we've all hated for so long, which is basically Man United fans.
I mean, Carl,
we've lost Danielle.
Good.
Yeah, she'll be back. Carl, obviously the game on Sunday, how are you feeling as a City fan? Do you think this is do you look at Newcastle now as a different game to what you've obviously played in the past? Because last season was just it was a farce. 4-0 and 5-0. It was ridiculous. But this season's a little bit differently. We're coming out, definitely a more compact side, definitely a more confident side. So where do you see the difficulty for Man City on Sunday?
This will be the most difficult game we've had this season so far. Unquestionable. One, because I mentioned before, the form guide is very clear. The form guide does not lie. Okay, I'm a data and a stats guy. It doesn't lie. Some people don't like data and stats. I like it because it tells you everything you need to see. The form guide does. It's going to be a very difficult game. Now, I think how Newcastle hurt us is by playing what I call a 3-4-1-2, right? Where you have very quick attacking players out wide. You have to have somebody in the hole, right? And then surrounded by 2 CDMs and then wing backs and the back 3. So that
you don't have quick attacking players, you're all right.
Right. So
that's where we struggle.
So that you can win the ball and transition as quickly as possible up front to exploit the space that we're leaving behind. That's the key, right? You have to do that. You can't play 4-3-3, in my opinion, against them because all City will just pass around you and exploit the half spaces and get to the final line and score a goal. You have to keep it compact, win the ball back hard, and then transition very quickly behind us, which I think you can do with the players that you have. Almiron's very quick. He can get it behind. Saint-Maximin's quick, but his final delivery is not as good. Callum Wilson is very good at finishing, but can he play 90 minutes? Who's going to play in the hole? Who plays 2 CDMs? Who plays your wing backs? These are the questions that we're looking to answer. From a Newcastle perspective, the area that I would target is make sure you target the right side, so the left side of City, which is your right side. So the left back, the Cancelo side, because he's an inverted fullback and he struggles when he has to chop out wide. So that's
he's an inside forward. Let's be honest. He's a striker just at fullback. He's a menace.
So it's going to be a difficult game for us, and we have to be on our game. If we're not on our game, it's going to be a loss or a point that we'll take. We have to be on our game.
Yeah, I mean, look, we at the minute, I think where we stand is that a point would be fantastic for us. It'll show certainly progression, Billy, in my opinion, after the thumpings we took last season.
I think the first 15-20 minutes will tell us all about this game. City have this thing where we know what our team is going to do in the first 5 minutes, how they start the game. We always know. If they start sluggish and kind of fool around for the first 5 minutes, we know it's going to be a very difficult afternoon. And if Newcastle start fast and furious and they get a goal or they press us back and we are slack, then we know it's going to be a difficult game. On the other hand, if we start fast and furious and we press up high and we try to get a goal in the first 5 to 10 minutes, we know what to expect. So these are going to be the moments that define how the game is going to go. It all depends on who's up for it, on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think we need to annoy you too early. I think we need to kind of hold you 0-0 to about the 89th minute and then score. If I'm being perfectly honest.
I agree with Billy. Absolutely. If we go up early, they'll throw the kitchen sink at us in the final hour.
Yeah, but have we? But you're saying that, but have we now got the players that can deal with that kitchen sink being thrown at us? You look at if we do go 3 at the back, which is a big rumor going around that's what we'll be doing on Sunday. We've got Byrne, Botman, and Shea. I mean, 3 centre backs who are very, very capable players. Could we hold the kitchen sink, Billy?
The other alternative, and I thought about this recently in that last hour, is you can play a 4-3-3 against us, but you play a 4-3-3 in the mid block. And what I mean by that is that Klopp and Guardiola play a 4-3 expansive. With a mid block, you basically keep a 4-3-3, 3 up front, 3 in the middle, 3 at the back in a mid block range. That way, you win the ball a little higher up the field, and then you counter attack them. But you're compact, so you can win the ball in the middle of the park. You're not expansive where you leave gaps, and then City can play through you. So you can't play a 4-3-3 against them. Palace did this last year against City in the Etihad, where they got 2-0, and we had a red card for Laporte. They played a 4-3-3, but in the mid block to win the ball back in the middle of the park and a transition. That's what they did. So you may see that from Eddie Howe on Sunday as well.
No, that's how we play. It's just whether he's got the balls to do a 4-3-3 and not go, because we got punished so hard for it last year for trying to match Spurs and you. So he might try it, but it's a 50-50 whether he's going to try and match or whether he's going to go to a back 5.
I think he will go 4-3-3 at home. I'll be honest.
You think he will?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he'll do it at home.
Interesting. And you don't worry about that formation, Billy?
I worry about any formation against Manchester City. They're a fantastic side. But you might as well have a go. You might as well go down with your boots on, trying to win the game.
Yeah.
We've just got to have a strong first half. We out-possessioned Brighton in the first half. When the lads are up for it, they're up for it. But we would need to put some goals in and have something to show for that first half if we do try and dominate and take advantage of the home, being the home fixture. And we wouldn't be able to just have a good first half. We would need a couple of goals. Otherwise, they'll just destroy us in the second half. So,
Samsonite Dave, thank you for your 50 Danish kroner. He says, so Pedro's a championship player. When Wilson was Pedro's age, he was on loan to Tamworth from Coventry, a League One team at the time. It's a very good point. Yeah.
People forget about Pedro. At St James's Park last season, he was the best player on the pitch against Watford. He dominated the game. Our defence won in 6 and 7s. Fair enough. I mean, Latals was playing, but still, he had them all tied up in notch. Had a superb game. So I've got no qualms about signing him at all.
Yeah, interesting. What formation will City go for on Sunday, Carl?
It's a usual 4-3-3. The reality of the situation is that even though City play a 4-3-3, it really isn't a 4-3-3. It's this hybrid crazy thing of either 3-4-3-2-2-3 or 2-3-5. That's what they normally do. The 3-box-3 is literally
2-3-5. Did you hear him say that, everybody? 2-3-5.
Yeah.
The audacity that is even a formation outside of Football Manager.
It's mental.
Yeah, that's what. So the first game is West Ham. They played a 2-3-5 with basically the fullbacks tucked into the middle of the park. So you had two centre backs. You had the 3 of Rodri, Cancelo, and Walker. Then you had a 5 of De Bruyne, Gundogan, and then the front 3, literally trying to press them and win the ball high. You know, I don't think he's going to do that at Newcastle because then you guys have space to run in and you can counter attack us. I think he's going to do with a 2-2-3, which is what we play on the average. So we'll see. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Flumpy Sucks says, does Carl think we'll win the league, Newcastle, that is, within the next 10 years?
I don't see why not. If you keep building, nobody has a right to win the league. If you keep building and sustaining yourself and competing, get into Europe, you attract more better players, you build that legacy. Why not? Football is cyclical. Today it's City, tomorrow maybe Newcastle.
Yeah. I mean, well, you look at your nearest and dearest neighbours, Manchester United, you know, look where they were in the 90s and, early 2000s to where they are now. I mean, the relegation fodder, they're absolutely abysmal, which is quite funny, really. But before you go, Carl, give us a scoreline and, possible goal scorers.
I hate doing predictions, but if I'm going to do a very narrow 1-0 respectable win for City. Difficult game for us.
Yep. Paul Tully says Mandalorian is amazing, by the way. Great show. There you go. Yeah, right. Well, thank you for giving us some of your time today, Carl. I know you're a busy man. Thank you very much for giving us the City side of things.
Who's the goal scorer?
De Bruyne.
Free kick, top bins, something like that. No.
Now Sterling's not there. It won't be 4 or 5, would it? Because he wants to score every time. Sterling.
Yeah,
Sterling,
well,
Sterling.
he had a knack of scoring against us. Carl, thank you very much for coming on, matey, and
good luck, guys. Thank you.
Be glad to have you back on for the next fixture, mate.
Good luck for the season. I want to see you guys top 7 this season. I'm going to look out for you guys. Seriously, you should back yourself to get top 7.
It'll be nice. It will be really nice. Thank you very much, mate, and we'll catch up soon.
Cheers, Carl.
Take care. So there was Carl. I have no idea where Danielle's gone. I think she's having some sort of internet problems. I haven't heard any messages from her yet, so hopefully she's okay. Just she's having a few internet worries. I always worry now when somebody goes off camera. It's yeah. Hang on, phone just buzzed there. Let me just have a look.
That was me.
Oh yes, yeah, okay. Right, we will carry on as normal. We'll go through a few more comments. Tony says it's embarrassing to behave like a spoiled brat after 15 years of Mike Ashley. Ian says if we beat everyone in the bottom half twice, that's 60 points. That was enough for 6th last season. Good point.
Yes, yeah.
Steve says I'm stressed rather than frustrated. After expecting 0 in transfer windows and getting it, I'm really tense, just waiting for something to happen. George Hayes, thank you for your $50 super sticker, mate. Very, very kind. George is a fantastic donator to the channel as well, so thank you very much. And of course, Trolls, thank you for your 50 Norwegian kroner as well, mate. There's no comment there, but as usual, Trolls. There was a couple of super chats came in while Carl was speaking, so I will get to them in the chat, of course. Spacebar says there's no need to have a go at the owners at all. It's stupid. However, I do want us to continue the progression we made from January onwards. Alex, if the season starts now, are you frustrated that we haven't got that depth?
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to say what a lot of people are saying, which is, oh, it's not good enough, it's a joke, and oh, no, it's fine. Like, it's really frustrating, but I can see that the club has a specific model they're trying to employ, and they're trying not to be taken for mugs. As Manchester City has just basically explained the same thing that I've been trying to explain. We're trying to set a precedent here, so we're not going to get ripped off in future windows. We don't want to be an Everton. We're trying to pay what we think we can afford and what we think the player is potentially worth. Because as much as I big up João Pedro, I think he's great, but he isn't proven. He might flop. There is that possibility. So throwing 35 at him and he just doesn't work, you've got to be careful. You know that you've just got to be careful.
You're not getting that many back if he flops, are you?
Exactly.
Billy, do you think Eddie Howe will be getting frustrated that we haven't managed to do the deals yet?
100%, absolutely. He'll want a squad full of quality. He won't get it full of quality this time, but as each window goes past, he'll want the squad to be, more depth in the squad quality-wise. And the fact we've only signed 3 defensive players, let's say a goalkeeper, 4 back and a centre half, he'll want attacking players. He'll want at least 2. It's not just a strike situation that we're missing. We need a creative midfielder or winger to set these chances up for strikers. Because at the minute, we're not creating any chances for our strikers.
That comment right there, Dark by Design, those players chipped in and are the reason we are 3rd in the form table since January the 1st.
Yeah,
I agree with you, they're not good enough.
I realise that, yeah.
But the numbers don't lie.
He is right what he says, though. A couple of injuries. That's what we.
I agree.
That's what I was saying before about the quality that we've got backed up. We do need strength. We need strength in depth. And we haven't got that right now.
No, I agree. It's going to be 10th-ish if we're lucky. If we don't add, I'm aware of that, but we're trying to. We literally had a bid rejected today, which means the club are bidding and trying to get players. So,
I think everybody can relate to the fact that we're bidding. It's just the fact that we're not. From the outside looking, we don't know what is going on inside those doors of the club. We don't know who is talking to who, what has been agreed, what hasn't been agreed. Have teams gone back on certain agreements that we have previously made, maybe verbally or whatever it is? It just seems that, we're going in, teams are telling us, right, you want this player, this is how much they're worth. And then going away, and it's a couple of days. That's the thing. It's they go away for a couple of days, they rethink things, and they go back in with a bid that's not at the valuation again. And I realise that we've got to do valuations, and we will go in at what we think that player is worth.
I think there's a reason for it, though. I have a theory. I think we're trying to sign 3 players. I think we're trying to get 2 in and 1 on loan with reasonably high wages, and we're having to try and balance it accordingly. I think we might bring 3 in potentially. So if we're going to do that, we've got to make sure that it adds up. We can't just go, whatever, there's 35 for Pedro. Yeah, there's this for that. But we've got to try and make it fit. Otherwise, if we do throw a lot of money at it, we do overpay for 10 by 10, 15 million for each of whoever these attackers are. And it does go wrong. What are we going to do in January?
Exactly.
Good point.
Exactly.
Good point. Peter, thank you for Peter Proudlock, thank you for your £5 super chat, buddy. He says, if we do go with 3 centre-backs on Sunday, then Lascelles can't be in there. He was one of the reasons why we got battered in both of the games last season. Very good point, Pete. And I think Eddie Howe will remember Jamal Lascelles' performances against Manchester City. He certainly would have been alerted to the fact that he should be nowhere near the starting lineup.
But if we get an injury amongst the starting 3 centre-backs, he's on the pitch.
Nah, Kraft can do a job at right centre-back.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Is Kraft fit?
I assume so. I don't see why he wouldn't be.
He wasn't on the bench last week, was he?
Was he not?
No.
Oh dear, I didn't
Was
know
that not an illness though? I'm not sure.
No, he's been injured. He's been injured for the first 2 games. He's been injured.
Oh, well, we'll see. Flumpy Suck says, we've been a McDonald's eating team that's just been given caviar for the first time. Of course, we're not too sure how we're supposed to act.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Mike says, have we forgotten what Howe has done? Fine to be concerned, but not to panic. Expectation, bigger already than it should be. We are still stabilising after 14 years of rust and rot, squad included. What happened to signing Gomez?
Which Gomez? Man City
Joe
signed a Gomez.
Gomez.
Man City have signed a Gomez, haven't they?
I think he meant Ramos, surely. I think he means Ramos.
Did he not mean Joe Gomez? I have no idea. You have to be
Maybe
more
he's on about
specific than that.
I don't think we've been in for a Gomez. I'm pretty sure he means Ramos, guys.
Maybe.
Listen, I've been doing some stats, Alex. You're going to be well impressed with this, right? You're going to be well impressed. So,
everyone's at the stats, isn't it, today? Christ.
Hey, listen, I've done some homework for the show for once in my life. Head-to-head against Manchester City. This includes League, FA Cup, and League Cup. Yes, Alex?
No, I didn't know you were going to do that. I know the head-to-head, but I don't know the head-to-head forever like you're going into.
Right. We have won 72. Manchester City have, we've lost 74, and 40 have been drawn. Last season, of course, was Newcastle 0, Man City 4, and Man City 5, Newcastle 0, totaling an aggregate of course, 9-0, which was horrific. Now, our last win against Manchester City in the Premier League, it came on the 29th of July, 2019, where we beat City 2-1 with goals from Rondon and a penalty from Lionel Richie, which was nice to see. And, of course, big celebrations when he kicked the corner flag into the bollocks of a Newcastle fan who was standing just along from the corner, who was probably still recovering from that after being caught in the plums by the corner flag, which was moving at a tremendous pace. It was a bit like spear fishing. You just shoot it out the gun and speared the fish. In fact, he speared his right testicle, which is still undergoing surgery as we speak.
I made him dance on the ceiling, though, didn't it? I mean, you'd call him Lionel Rich after all.
Yes, exactly. Well, he pretty much was. We were all dancing on the scene when that penalty went in, to be honest. Now, out of the current crop of squad members, playing that day was Dubravka, Lascelles, Shire, Richie, and Longstaff. And Manquillo came on as a sub in that game. And the Premier League head-to-head, we've played 44. We have only won 8 games. We've drawn 8 and lost 28 against Manchester City in the Premier League. We've scored 40 goals and we've conceded 92. So, boom. How did I do, Alex?
Very, very well. It's just not very nice stats to listen to.
No, they're horrible, actually.
I mean, even in our good days, they used to give us a right game, even when they were crap. I mean,
absolutely.
We should have won the league.
We've only won 8 games and we've conceded 92 goals against them in 44 games. That is frightening. Ian Fleming, thank you for your £10 super chat. He says, would like to see a new striker in, but I trust the owners to get it right. Indeed. Look, I mean, I like doing my homework on the stats, but that's the only stats I'm going to do because, I know stats, graphics board, and that will always be Alex's job for that. But I just thought I'd pump in with a little bit of homework myself for once in my life. And I found a really good website to get all that information from. And I liked it. Trolls did put in another 100 krona, by the way, before the 50. So thank you very much, Trolls. Absolutely incredible, mate. Up the A1 says there will be some movement on some of the linked players. Maybe we get a striker in on loan and buy an up-and-coming wide player for 20 mil. We will stay top half and push on in January. I hope you're right. David Smith, thank you for your £4.49 as well. He says, what's wrong with finishing in the lower leagues? Fishing in the lower leagues. Supermac, Andy Cole, Peter Witt, Peter Beardsley, first time, etc., etc.
We didn't get Peter Witt in the lower leagues. We got from Notts Forest. They would just be champions. But the rest was right. Correct.
Very interesting username here. Thank you for your New Zealand $8.99. His username is Grr. And he says, Bruno's agent, Alex Malalavatad, just posted eyes emojis under Fabrizio's Instagram post about Casemiro to United. Bruno's going nowhere, right? Nowhere. No
We'll put
way.
it this way: if Gibbs White's worth 44 million, I'd want 230 million for.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. In fact, why not just round it up to 300 million? There you go.
Indeed.
And I'm sure
I
we can
wouldn't
get some
worry
players
about
for
it because
300 million.
if they offer anything that we're willing to accept by whoever we want anyway, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, 80s Gamer has well and truly a very strong opinion. Dan Ashworth has been much use as tits on a fish since he arrived. Sorry, I fully understand we don't want to get ripped off, but sooner or later we will have to pay the going rate like everyone else.
I'm sure Dan Ashworth isn't in charge of the purse strings. I'm sure Dan Ashworth's job is to get the players to that stage.
John says, ASM, what's your thoughts? We're not going into that again. Alex is, it's Thursday night. We know what he's like on a Thursday night after raw steak. Sean says, I thought the bid for Maddison was a joke. I mean, it has to be semi-serious. Well, it's gone very quiet on Maddison, hasn't it?
Was it a joke, though? They needed to sell a player. They were crying for money. They couldn't sign a player unless they had a sale.
That's true.
And we offered them a cheeky bid when he had 2 years remaining on his contract.
It was a cheeky bid.
It wasn't outrageous. It was fair, and it didn't work.
But Leicester have a history of selling their players for top dollar. They don't give them away, do they?
Yeah, they do things. Yeah, they do things a good way. I mean, look, we've said many times before. Let's look at what Leicester City have done on not as much money as what we have available now. They've had a progression and an ambition, and listen, they're living out that ambition. They've won the Premier League, they've won the FA Cup. We haven't. Francisco says, I think the big thing to take into account is how FFP was when City began their process versus how it is now. It will make it different and difficult, but we have great people in charge.
It didn't really exist when they took over, did it?
No.
Yeah, no. I didn't agree when you said that they did it slow, like we're doing it slow.
No, what I meant by that was, Alex, they bought a marquee player. Every year for a couple of years, they bought like Robinho in, like a standout name.
Yeah, but we've not been able to buy that kind of crazy high signing. No. I feel like if FFP didn't exist now, I think we'd have signed like a Neymar or somebody outrageous.
Yeah,
I agree.
We can't.
Yeah, the shackles are more on us than they were on City. I'm not denying that for a second. But they didn't go all out and spend billions in a couple of seasons. It was a progression.
But there was no English player tax then. They went out and bought the likes of Bridge, Barry, good quality English players.
Yeah, the bought is steady. They bought steady Eddies. They didn't buy a lot of world class. They bought steady Eddies who started moving them up the league. Because whatever you think of Gareth Barry, I think he did brilliantly for them. He was a fantastic signing.
That's Johnny Lescott, another one.
Yeah, you could name a few. I mean, look, Stephen Ireland went there and did a decent job, for God's sake. I mean, I know he was tripe when he came to us, but he did do a decent job.
He was there pre-takeover, wasn't he?
Was he? Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, I've seen that, Alex. Susan's told him to drop me an email, so hopefully he will. Miggy to score in the winner in the 89th minute, and then a huge FU to Grealish. That would be incredible. If he just scored in the 89th minute to win the game and then went over and did a little dance in front of Jack Grealish. By the way, I don't expect Grealish to be on the pitch then, to be honest, because he's shit. The voice says, hello, everyone from the Falklands Islands. Sorry, everyone, I didn't say hello before, as I'm a little frustrated at the moment with our transfer business, but need to stay positive for the new season.
Oh, I love that at some point after like the 5 panic comments, he's gone, all right, I need to calm down a little bit now. Let's say hello.
Yeah. Dark by Design says, if we hold them to a 0-1 like Liverpool, at least it would be a good result, to be honest. I think we can give them a game. Like I said earlier, I think it's the substitutions that I'm worried about, is when we start to make changes, when that starting 11 tires. Man City can bring on 5 absolute quality players. We don't have that luxury.
Brought on 5. Both games they've played, they've used all 5. So a couple of them were quite late against Bournemouth, but they've used 10 substitutes in 2 games.
John says, evening, folks. Toon mug arrived today. Good stuff. Glad it did. They'll certainly be arriving in the next couple of days to those that placed the orders. Before we get graphics up from Stato, Of course, you can get your merchandise for the Toon Review. Lots of new stuff coming in the next few weeks. But this is where you can go to get what we have at the moment.
So let's get down to business. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it. Let's get down to business.
So there you go. The toonreview.co.uk is where you need to go. Danielle's having internet problems, so she sends her apologies, but she's all I got was internet, for fuck's sake. She's a frustrated a woman at the moment. Right. So David Smith says, I always lined up my Subbuteo teams 2-3-5. But Alex, you're right. It's a luxury to be able to do something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's because it's a lot of almost total football in the way that so many of their players can play any position. You know, their goalkeeper is a footballer at the end of the day. He's not just a goalkeeper. Cancelo can play as a winger almost. Kyle Walker's been very competent at moving into midfield for the last 3 years. They can all just do whatever they want. The front line just float wherever they want. The strikers are essentially can all play as attackers as well. And they're all reasonably competent at pressing, defending. But they just do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Dave says, seems to me loads of peeps are still bruised. Even if we don't get anyone else, we are still better off than we have been for yonks. I agree with that, definitely. And it's interesting, just on a side note, how many phone calls that the football programs are getting now regarding a certain Mr. Bruce, who is in his, he's fighting in the he's definitely in there with the three in the championship. But unfortunately for West Brom fans, it's the bottom three, and they are waking up now and smelling the coffee well and truly. A guy I heard today came on the radio, said he didn't renew his season ticket this year because of the manager. And there you go. It rings true wherever he goes. So, but Paul says top 7 would be amazing considering where we were last year. Blakey says top 7, no chance without reinforcements. Can't pull on our hopes on Wilson. He won't be fit the whole season.
How do you know that?
Well, Travoy says, Alex, I was the one that stated before that why we're wasting money on a championship player. I watch a lot of football and have done the whole of my life. It's just my opinion, buddy.
That's fine. I disagree with it entirely. There's plenty of good players come out of the championship. There's no reason to suggest that he wouldn't be one. And he's not a championship player, let's be honest. He's literally just gone down. He's played a few games.
Yeah, and like Billy said, he ran us off the park last season, to be fair. James says, if we played in the Community Shield, no way I wouldn't watch.
The time we played in it, I wish I hadn't fucking watched it. Excuse my language. But
for us, it would be a different kettle of fish, wouldn't it? We'd be going in there. If we got into the, in there, we'd be basically celebrating. She's back. She's back.
Yay.
Apologies.
That's all right. No worries. Internet cannot be helped, Danielle, at all.
Well, somebody robbed the Virgin box from the corner the other day. All the copper went. So,
wow.
It's not really fair.
Cramlington, ladies and gentlemen. Just yeah.
God bless opportunist.
Yeah. Jim says, loved the tweet about Elon Musk buying Man United, then posting, "Now I was only joking." Danielle, we haven't really had a chance to talk to you about what's going on at Joke Trafford at the minute. So, how are you feeling about listen, on a serious note, Sky Sports News, you need to get your heads out your asses, man. There is more clubs in this world than Manchester United. For God's sake, get a grip of your life. There is so many more football channels pointing out about Manchester United. We're just sick of it, man. There's other clubs in this world. Get a grip. Danielle.
Well, I'm going to be the new diplomatic me.
Oh.
Yeah. Billy, stop laughing. Alex, stop laughing.
Well, yeah, you in the same sentence as diplomatic. I think that's what they're laughing at.
I think the kindest thing I can think to say about this situation is that it's very unfortunate for those that support Manchester United.
Has this new diplomatic you got something to do with your Her Game 2 rule now, Danielle, that you're not going to, is this the more diplomatic you in your new role? By the way, which I'm dead proud of you, by the way. I didn't get a chance to say that on camera after my debacle on Friday. So I am massively proud of what you're doing. Couldn't be more prouder. I really couldn't. Absolutely fantastic. But does this mean that, is this what we're going to see from now on and here?
I think that as Manchester United even are a partner of Her Game 2, I have to be diplomatic in terms of my feelings. However, saying that, am I delighted? Absolutely. So I have to say that.
The diplomatic comments went right up.
That's all I'm saying. And then any future comments, Billy said he's happy to take over the reign, aren't you, Billy?
All right, okay. So basically, you just feed Billy the
in top spots.
Yeah, indeed. Fair enough. But yeah, Danielle, if you haven't heard by now, is the Newcastle representative for Her Game 2, which is absolutely incredible. So very nice of Kaz to follow. Indeed, but it's work that you're going to love. Absolutely. And it's such a positive for you. It's incredible. So well done.
For everybody who's on Twitter, if you give at Her Game 2 NUFC a follow, please, because that's the official Newcastle United Her Game 2 page.
It is indeed. So there you go. So that's at Her Game 2 NUFC.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Get
which is
following.
quite cool because it's like Toon in the middle, which I thought was quite appropriate. But
Her Game. Oh yes. Yeah. See, even Stato didn't realise that there. He was, Clark Kent.
I'm not. Don't do the countdown bit with the words. I do the numbers bit, don't I?
No, that's very true. Right, here we go. There you go, Alex.
Hey, this is all right. Week 3. This is our 11 from last season against Southampton. That frustrating 2-2 draw where Maxi scored in the 91st minute.
And Lascelles gave away a penalty. Yeah.
And the headband was off.
And then this
going in the Gallagher,
this silly man decided to do things that he just continues to do. But this was our 11. So interestingly enough, I do keep saying this week on week that we actually have a reasonable chunk of this spine performing very well at the moment, which is lovely to see how well the coaching staff and Eddie Howe have done. Cher playing out of his skin. I mean, people are talking about buying a right-sided centre-back because Lascelles isn't an adequate backup. Nobody's saying we need to buy a right-sided centre-back to play in front of Cher. Like, nobody's saying that, which is a huge testament to how impressive he's been, let's be honest. But we've still got... Oh, I've lost my mouse. There it is. So we've still got Longstaff. We've still got Willock. Still got Miggy. I'd just like to point out how out of position does everybody feel in this system compared to how we use them currently. Like Miggy,
absolutely laughable.
What's Miggy doing here? Like, I don't know what he was trying to do here. This is just a mess. And against Southampton, like we in that first half against Brighton, we out-possessioned them in the first half, which is an incredible achievement against Brighton. This is how we fared in stats against Southampton that day. Only 36% possession. We got dominated. We played an extremely defensive system. They got nearly double our passes, double our shots. We still managed to get a point. So, yeah, it is.
I'll tell you what, Alex. The Manchester and Hove Albion system looks a bit dodgy at the back there.
Oh yeah, this is just a mishmash of Brighton and City players from other graphs. But let's go on to today's graph. So this is us versus City. So I'm going to show both systems because I always have the default 4-3-3 on screen straight away. I thought I would put a back 5 up. I'm not saying this is what we're going to do. I just thought I'd put it up because everybody already knows what our 4-3-3 looks like. So if we go defensive, possibly this is what could happen. The question marks would be what happens with the centre backs. Personally, I think he would play Burn as the left-sided centre-back because he's also comfortable at full-back, wing-back, whatever it's called, whatever he wants to be. So that would make more sense to have Botman as the main man, squaring up to Haaland.
Yeah,
and then Cher on the right side. And can I just also point out, if I go back to the Southampton one, that Cher's playing left-sided centre-back last year. What on earth is happening there? Anyway, so this is what could happen. Obviously, without the ball, it'll probably look a bit more like this. With the ball, Miggy will probably push on a bit. It will change shape a little bit, and possibly somebody will join. Trippier might go into midfield a little bit, kind of in here. It might look a bit more possibly wonky on the ball, in sort of a transitional counter-attack. So what do we have to be concerned about? Well, you talk about substitutes. We've got their starting 11 here, and they've still got Stones, Phillips, who they've just paid a lot of money for, who isn't playing yet. Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, Julian Alvarez, Delap and Palmer as the youngsters. So they have huge depth here in every position.
Delap's just gone on loan.
He just disappeared, has he?
City today, I think it is.
Joke, yeah, you're right.
However, that other youngster, Mr. Palmer, is an absolute quality player. I signed him for Football Manager, by the way, and he is
Are you
superb.
getting on a Football Manager, by the way?
I haven't been on it for weeks. Christ, my stress levels have been high enough, Danielle. I don't need that.
Fair point.
By the way, just some quick breaking news. Manchester United have agreed terms with Casemiro.
Holy mother.
So they may,
he may well comment.
Be going. I know. Listen, Bruno's going nowhere. Absolutely
not this season.
No.
Like the Hulk will appear. I'm telling you, the Hulk will appear.
The She-Hulk. Go on.
So, as people were concerned about, they are more than capable of kind of, doing these kinds of shapes in attack, and it's just not an issue at all. They can just push everybody wherever. And Cancelo cut us apart. Last season was very annoying. I do think we can potentially get at them. I don't think Ake is the strongest in their squad. He's still very good, but it's not as concrete. If he continues to pick sort of Foden, Ake down this left side, we would need people to link up rather well and try and exploit this. Maybe occasionally Maxi obviously does 10 or 15 minutes on the right side during a game. There might be space to exploit down this side if we can maybe catch somebody, but they'll be aware of this because the Man City coaching staff will probably say this. They'll maybe try and catch you out on that. They'll be fully prepared for that, but it doesn't mean they can stop us. When Maxi's on, he's on. When Miggy's ready, he is. If he can just shoot with his right foot. And shout out to Wolf Flanks for apparently doing a Miggy display, which I'm excited to see that. That will be interesting.
Just so happens to be doing a Miggy display when Grealish is in town.
Yeah,
very interesting.
And then
you expect us to go? You expect us to go forward the back, Alex? Is that what you're saying?
I'm so 50-50 at the moment. I've not even decided before we do the predictions. I'll zoom in on this. So what I do want to show to you guys is this is quite a strong West Ham team, in my opinion. I think this is a 4-2-3-1 with Rice and Souček in midfield. We struggled against them. We got a 1-1. Very strong West Ham team. Challenging for European places last year. 75% possession away. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
absolutely ridiculous. I'm a little bit scared about Sunday because Man
City we'll shit them.
They are pretty ridiculous.
I'm loving the confidence, Billy.
Yeah, I'm not quite there. Unusually.
So West Ham tried to play their game and they got battered. I understand that we've just tried to match Brighton and we did a fairly good job. We looked much improved. We did fall apart in the second half, but we kept it 0-0 and we looked okay for the first half. I don't think we're ready yet. I don't think we're ready to put on our big boy or big girl trousers and try and go toe to toe with City. I don't think we're there yet. We're not. We're just not.
Hang on a minute. Notice how Alex did his very aware of the hashtag her game too next to Danielle's name, as he said, big girls trousers as well.
Exactly.
By the way, thank you, Seattle Geordie, for your $5 super chat. Danielle has become a pod person. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Okay.
Bournemouth, much of the same, 67% possession. So Bournemouth actually had more of the ball than West Ham did. But Bournemouth decided to do we don't like, we're scared and we're going to play everybody in defensive roles. It still didn't. It wasn't enough. It didn't work. They went with the wing backs. It wasn't enough. They had 3 shots. City had 19. It didn't work. They got humped 4-0. So, I don't know. I would like us to try this. I mean, the optimist in me wants us to try this and try and match them. But again, I feel like I'll echo what I said earlier on in the show. I think we probably can match them for a period of time, because we are very good when we want to be dominating, pressing, passing. We're very good when we want to be, but it's difficult for us to maintain that for the whole match. We're not there yet. So I think we might be able to do that for 20, 30, maybe 40 with really pushing it minutes. And then Man City are just going to start turning up. And it's the case of, can we score a couple of goals in that period where we're putting our foot down? Mm-hmm. That's going to be the kicker. If we don't feel like we can do that, maybe the back 5 is safer. We'll try and nick something. There's no shame in playing against, playing a back 5 against Man City. There's just no shame in it. Because, you saw what happened to the previous 2 teams. West Ham tried to do it their way, got smashed. Bournemouth tried to do it in a defensive way, also got smashed. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't against City. You just the coaching staff will just have to try their best. And I'm just excited because it's a very dramatic. I'm surprised that the media aren't hyping it up more. With Grealish, Almiron, Botman versus Haaland.
Well, they're not hyping anything up at the minute with the Manchester United situation. They can't turn their eyes off.
But Bruno against their midfield as well. There's a lot of cool, interesting battles to sort of test where we're at, but the media are more interested in Casemiro. So
Steve says, "Are we going to boo Grealish? It's childish and immature, but I thoroughly intend to do it anyway."
I agree, 100% agree.
The supporters are playing on FFP too much now. They have money to spend, but penny pinching and other clubs just putting in decent offers. Says Super Ted. Stiff Gator says, as great as Casemiro is, you couldn't blame Real for selling him for 60 million if United offered that. Yeah, I mean, he's 30-year-old. It's a lot of money. Someone mentioned Asensio in the comments. Any word on that? There's nothing on Asensio now. We were listening very early on, but anyway, Foxy said they bought Company and De Jong from Hamburg, which were outstanding signings from the start too. Indeed. Explore with Mark says, I do fancy a 2-1 win. The game is a big test to the lads, and I personally think they'll be raring to go for it. I fancy a win. I mean, Billy, sometimes we do perform really well against the top clubs, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And even season 4 last, we gave them a good game at St James's Park, Man City. But it's their quality. You've got to be on them for 90 minutes. And like Alex says, once we bring the subs on, they're not the quality of the first 11. So, it could happen. We could get a fluke result out of it. But we'll have to go on for 90 minutes. There'll be no slacking for any minute of time, because they've got the quality to take advantage of any kind of lapse in concentration or fitness or whatever. So I'm optimistic we can get something out of the game, and at the very least, give them a good game.
Yeah. Dave says, I keep saying this, but you keep skipping my comments. I do apologise, but I'll try again. It's not the purchase price; it's the wages. Pay 60, 70, or 80 million. They won't work for 100,000 though.
I think they will. I don't think João Pedro is asking for more than our highest earner. Not from Watford.
No, especially at his age. Johnny Ola says, Man City's first 10 signings include Robinho, Bellamy, Bridge, De Jong, Given, Barry, Roque Santa Cruz, and Carlos Tevez. That's pretty handy. It is.
Except for Roque Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz didn't exactly...
Do you remember Leeds? Christ.
Keith says, so when you start selling more merch, will we get more of the tune? No. No. We had to mix the tune up as it is to avoid copyright, but never mind. Ian says, you are looking in fine fettle, Paul. Good to see. Thanks, Ian. You're improving every day. It's just the mental aspect that's still bugging me. but I'll get there. John says, if we're struggling a bit, I would like to see Anderson to come on. Longstaff and Murphy seem to be the preferred options at the moment because it's all we bloody have. Basling, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, I got in late but didn't want to miss the beginning. I'm glad I started. The City supporter, Carl, was the best opposition fan you've had. Very astute. He was, but I think he kept forgetting his name wasn't Billy a couple of times.
Indeed.
It's funny because I just said, "What do you think, Billy?" And Carl would start talking, thinking, "Oh,
I saw you like breathe in and then."
Yeah, strange. But listen, we they're guests. Let's just
Absolutely.
They are. And you can't be a 2008 Man City fan, can you?
Well, yeah, I did kind of sort of have a little smirk at that when he said 2008. I started supporting them.
No, be nice.
No, but hey, it's fine. Listen. They don't have plastic fans. I'm not saying that at all. Francisco says, we say we are concerned for our subs, but then get frustrated about not signing first-team players. Would you prefer a couple of top signs or several quality depth players? Well, no, it's the depth that we're talking about. Look at Manchester City. Look at the depth they've got on the bench. They can replace quality with the same quality, and that's what I think we should be aspiring to.
If we sign a top-quality right winger, Miggy then becomes the depth, isn't he?
Yeah, all good for depth. I forgot one stat, by the way, when I was doing the thing. You know how we've been looking at passes a bit more recently, and sort of dominant teams are getting 400 or 500 passes in per match. Yeah. City against West Ham. Do you want to take a guess at how many they tried?
Oh God,
Jesus,
738.
More.
Very specific.
Over 1,000. More. Over 1,000.
No, it was 833. They tried, and they got 774. So they got 833 attempted passes with a 93% accuracy.
Oh, I can't wait for Sunday. Me like, God,
we'll shit them.
That's ridiculous.
Considering
we've been looking at like game statistics where we're getting 400-ish, and they're getting 833. That's stupid.
That's absolutely mental. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's mental, to be honest. I mean, it's just. Listen, I fully expect Man City to have much more of the ball than us on Sunday. It's what we do when we have the ball that counts. We know Man City will have a lot of possession, but Danielle, it's all about what we do when we finally get the ball.
Yeah, we've got to press, we've got to go and move, put it through the midfield, create something, and people need to just be on the top of their game. So we need Callum to be making runs into the boxes, and like I'm worried. I've got to say I'm worried. And I know normally I'm dead excited and overexcited when we get to this part of the show, but nah, I just don't know. Like, this is a different beast, Manchester
like
City.
You, Danielle.
And I'm just
the way to beat Man City. Wilson. The way to beat Man City is to stop their fullbacks from getting up the pitch. So Maxi and Miggy are the two key players for us on Sunday.
Yeah, but I'm quite quietly confident about Wilson. He might not score, but I think he'll have a better game because this is the first time this season he's not up against three monsters. It's just going to be a flat back four with two. I think he's going to have a bit more chance physically this time.
I'd like to see him put himself about like he did against Arsenal at the end of last season.
Yeah,
play like that, become involved in the game like that, and I'm sure we will see a very different Callum Wilson. And he'll rough them up, and Man City won't like that. They will expect everything to go their way.
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Bruno on Sunday and whether they're going to do what Brighton did and just be on him.
Well, that's my worry. Bruno's, because of the injury to Shelvey, it's put Bruno in that situation where he is not as effective. It's clear that he's not as effective where he is.
I'd like to think the coaching staff have probably been working on that this week, though, to try and teach the lads how to try and get him out of that situation and maybe give Bruno himself some pointers. And like, hopefully they'll be aware of this a bit more than they were before. I think it just surprised them a bit because it didn't happen in the second half as much. So they obviously addressed that specifically at halftime with instructions. So hopefully we'll be better prepared for it and it won't happen again.
I don't think City have specific roles to opposition players full stop. I just think they go on and play the game.
Yeah,
that's true.
Dark by Design says, why don't we test Fulham with a cheeky bid for Mitro?
I mean, I wouldn't be against that, to be fair. I know a lot of people hate it, but I think he's a beast.
Scott says, we cannot daydream, guys. City will put 3 past us. Yeah, we put 4 past them.
Very possibly.
Keith is breaking. Watford FC rejects second bid in region of 22 million plus 3 million add-ons for João Pedro. And that's from the Athletic as well. So pretty.
See, we're trying to do the dance halfway again. We're trying to do the dance we offered 20, they wanted 30. We've gone with 25. 27 with the next bid. Guarantee it.
If there's another bid at all.
Depends what other pans have got in the fire, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can we not offer them a player? Like, is that not an option anymore? Can we not just send somebody to Watford?
Well, why don't we put Murphy in the deal?
Yeah. 35 million plus Murphy.
The reason they're playing hardball is because they don't want to lose all their forwards. They've lost Denis and they might lose Sarr.
Did you just say 35 plus Murphy?
And Wood.
Throw him in. Yes.
Throw Wood on the fire as well.
Send Chris Wood. Perfect.
I don't think.
I think they take Murphy.
I think they would as well.
I love how you said I think they take Murphy, but you didn't say they take Wood.
They wouldn't take Wood.
Chris Wood plus 5 mil. There you go. That's the 30.
Yeah, indeed. But listen, if they're losing, is it Sarr that might be losing or Dennis?
I think they've lost Denis already.
They might lose Sarr.
Yeah.
If they're going to lose Sarr, Murphy would be a good backup in the Championship. He'd be a good replacement in the Championship.
But this is why they're playing hardball, because if they lose all three and don't replace them adequately, they're not going up. So this is why they're rejecting bids. They've got to be careful.
Yeah. Tony says, Danielle, you're like an even Bond villain stroking a cat while bantering Manchester United.
I'm not bantering anyone.
They can see right through you, Danielle.
Mm.
Jan says it was my son. It was my son's birthday today. He got the full size away blue kit, and he was very happy. He is size 4XXXX and 27 now. Well, happy birthday to your son, Jan. Spacebar says you're not fooling anyone, Danielle.
I don't know what you mean.
Francisco says Ambassador Danielle, please, gents. Bring back Ole, says Tony. George says, seen the club shop are giving away a free beach towel when you spend over 80 quid. Who wants a Castoria beach towel, man?
That's
you'll get
exactly
it
what
for summer 2025.
Well, I said 2026, so you were a bit optimistic there, Paul.
Yeah,
well, some people will be getting wind socks and some people will be getting fucking flannels.
That's very true. Yeah. Dave says exactly, Paul. Sick of Sky every day. All news about Man United. Don't be diplomatic, Danielle. Think your hatred for Man United is close to mine. Congratulations on your role. Well done, Danielle, says John. James says, same in the US. They don't mention Newcastle. We're mentioning destinations for Captain America.
This has been annoying me so much. Like tonight, you mentioned this earlier, Paul. You're absolutely spot on. The fact
whoa, hang on, whoa.
I'm agreeing with you. I know. I'm agreeing with you.
That has never been said on the Toon Review before. Please, someone go back and clip that. Suzanne, that's going in as a short.
You don't know what I'm going to say yet.
Just repeat
I might double bluff it.
Alex, please repeat that just for people who didn't quite hear it.
You were spot on, Paul.
I may actually pass out on the floor again. Go on, Alex.
Right, that 45 million pounds for Morgan Gibbs-White for the promoted Nottingham Forest who've been out the league for so long. We are a big news globally, and we've just had a second bid rejected for a striker, and all the Sky Sports Premier League is how could and would Casemiro fit in at Manchester United in the midfield? It's like there's other big news going on, and they won't report on anything else. It's a joke. This is why things like The Other 14 as a concept exist in podcasts and Twitter pages, because people are sick of it. People are absolutely sick of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill says, I live in Manchester and their fans are pig sick of the Glazers. Many no longer go to games and the seats are filled by tourists. Well, that's been the case since 1992, Bill. So it was well before the Glazers that it was filled by tourists. But listen, I was in Manchester, as I say, on Tuesday, and I did not see one person wearing a Man United replica shirt, or a City one for that matter. You know, you go to Newcastle and they're bloody everywhere. So it's very strange. Yet you go to London. I was in London the week before, and wow, lots of different strips down there, replica shirts, Man United, Man City, obviously the London clubs as well.
We get a few in the Midlands as well.
Supporters.
Either Liverpool or Man United. But the joke that you've got a red stain on your shirt works for both of them, so it's fine.
That's very true. Billy, I just seen a comment saying you should be the new host of Countdown. Interesting. I think you do a good job on Countdown, actually, Billy. I think you'd be very diplomatic to a point.
Well,
yeah.
Except some of the words you make up might not be broadcastable for Channel 4 television.
No.
That's the difference. Danielle, you would be more believable if you weren't laughing.
I'm working on it.
Yano says, being diplomatic is something I've struggled with for many years. So I'm chuffed to absolute bollocks that the Manc are deep in shit and digging deeper. Long may it continue. Tony says all the media will be licking ours when we're up there in the next 3 to 5 years. Yep. I can see Wood kicking a bicycle.
I'm missing.
Yeah. Novik says, shame that Danielle is not on SM. Has she seen the sports commentator trying to mention something about Man U and all he can do is laugh?
Social media.
Social media.
Right, okay. Interesting. Rob says, well done, Danielle. My girls are heavily involved in girls' football, and I'm so proud of them.
Fantastic. Great to see.
And by the way, we are doing our bit as well by sponsoring the Cramlington United under-18s. Under-8s girls team for this coming season as well.
I was going to say, they grew up very fast.
They did. 10 years in like a month. Incredible. That's what getting sponsored by the Toon Review does to you. It ages you dramatically. Jordy Waster says, can we please discuss what everyone is trying to avoid talking about, like the plague? Why if Forest can attract 20 new players, why can't we attract new players? What is the real issue?
I mean, we discussed this when we did the Nottingham Forest preview, because they're buying 15 to 20 million pound gambles from the Bundesliga and Liga and such. They're reasonably good players, but they were gambles and they don't fit the profile that we're looking for. And they just thrown 45 million at Morgan Gibbs White, and they put Lingard in 200 grand a week. Like, these are questions you can Google yourself, I'm afraid.
And Hassim Aouar meant to be going there next. I mean, he's a top player.
An hour, yeah. Like, he was meant to be the next sort of Odegaard attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy. They're throwing money at it. They're taking gambles and throwing a lot of money at it. We're not overpaying. Do you think Morgan Gibbs White is worth 45 million?
No.
Like, if Wolves don't think he's ready for their midfield and kept loaning him out to the Championship.
Yeah.
Maybe they're getting three. Yeah, they might think they're getting 3 players.
I don't think he's worth more than Willock was when we paid 25 for Willock. Or Morgan Gibbs and White.
Billy just keeps a straight face, or doesn't he? Just comes out with them and then just shuts up until everyone sort of registers what he's just said.
But I mean, honestly, if anybody remembers Willock, does anybody seriously think that Morgan Gibbs White is better than Willock when we signed him?
No.
Similar age profiles, and we got Willock for 25 million.
Yeah.
They've overpaid by around 20 odd million, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Can't see Danielle's diplomatic head lasting very long, says Dave.
It's a work in progress, Dave. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, we'll just see if Manchester United do anything to really piss her off over the next couple of weeks, transfer wise, and then we'll have the real Danielle back. But
in the maybe looking for a new ambassador.
Can you imagine the Rob Duss of a player on deadline day? I mean, she'd be hitting the drink.
What would happen if the Casemiro thing broke through and then they come and got Bruno for us? What would you do then?
Well,
would you still be diplomatic, Danielle?
No, you know what I'd probably do? I can't. Well, I'm going to say it. Well, whatever. I'm going to go. You know what I would do? I'd go to the reception, right? It's St James's Park, and I'd chain myself to the doors. Like I would do something mental like that.
I'd ask for a refund on my Bruno shirt.
Her chain too.
Her chain too. Yeah. Exactly.
Is there any amount of money that you would be? If they paid for Bruno a lot of money, Real Madrid, is there any amount that would sort of make it okay for you?
No, nah. I'd want a ridiculous amount in cash up front, like, I mean, silly amount that nobody would ever pay.
Well, like La Liga, 800 million.
Oh, not that much. I mean, I was talking like maybe 200 million up front, like no installment shenanigans, plus maybe a player. I don't know, but.
Yeah.
Take Camavinga off the hands.
Jodie says, how is the dog, Paul? She's great. She's doing much, much better. Thank you. Claire is a Man City fan, obviously. Come on, Manchester City and MCFC.
top-sided.
Jason says, City. First home game in a while Sunday. However, lads, Olivier Garnier, that's not your name, surely to Christ. 4-1 for City. Goals from Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, share for us, Haaland, and then Alvarez. Interesting. Olivier Garnier, that's a model name. That you're either a model or an actor with a name like that, and probably French as well. You know, what can you say? Hello, you know, my name is Olivier Garnier. Pleased to meet you. That, I mean, as soon as you say that, you've got the job, haven't you? You know what I mean? Just walking in with a sexy French accent like that, and just
I don't know where you're trying to get employed at, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a modeling agency or an actor, you know. Bonjour. The name is Olivier.
So are you saying if Ken Dodd went into a modeling agency and went, "Hello, my name is Kenny Dodd," he'd get the job just because of his voice, looking like Ken Dodd?
Maybe he's not Ken Dodd, Billy. That's pushing it a little bit. Johnny Ola, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, does anyone agree the present model for wages and transfer fees Europe-wide is unsustainable? Well, yes, because, you know, the likes of Barcelona are proving that already.
I mean, how many players have they got now that they haven't registered? Like...
500. You know, it's
they're a joke of a club. They are. It's very funny because I obviously I know a lot of Polish people that bought Lewandowski 12, and then when they released the squad numbers, he wasn't 12 anymore. They changed it, and everybody had already bought the wrong shirt number.
You'd be fuming,
they're a mess. They're an absolute mess. And then when they launched the original things, they ran out of the letter L, and their main striker starts with an L, and they ran out of it on day one.
Banter club. That's what they turned it into. Dark by Design says, did you see Arteta in the dressing room full time in All or Nothing last episode? Yes. And listen, I think he read the riot act. I did laugh at Xhaka throwing down his shin guards like a spoiled child, which was funny as well. But there you go. And you know, it gives an insight into the away dressing room. Isn't that sort of gracious? Is it?
Nah, it's rank.
But then again,
it's meant to be that way, though, isn't it? Yeah. That's the whole point.
But I remember the away dressing room at Durham Ice Rink. It had holes in the windows. It had rats in, and the shower only had cold water, and there was only one of them.
Rats in?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And not normal rats, Danielle. These were water rats.
Massive
that
ones.
Come from the river, like Jack Russell dogs, man. I remember when I once got tripped over just as the ice machine was going off the ice, so the middle gate was open, and I went sliding on me front off the ice and right under the stands, because there was a huge gap under this, you know, from the wooden stands in Durham Ice Rink, because it was that decrepit. And I went under the stands and I looked up, and I swear to God, these eyes were staring at me, right? And it was a rat, but it had the head the size of a pig, right? And I swear to God, it actually said, "I'm going to eat you right now." And I got myself out of there in seconds.
Didn't know Luis Suarez played ice hockey, but
well, hey mate, I tell you what, it was scary, man. I mean, it was the size of a bull, man. I mean, what the hell? These things?
If it's not rats, it's bats, isn't it?
Oh, you know what I mean? Terrible! You know, rats and bats. Don't do them. Anyway, it is that time of the evening. We've almost got 1,000 watching, so thank you very much, everybody, again, for your unbelievable support of this channel. You are absolute legends, every single one of you. So please do stick a like on it and subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we upload or we go live. Now it is time for the team lineups and predictions, and we'll start with Billy Bob Coleman. Billy, what is your team to face the might of Manchester City on Sunday?
This is hard. Like,
I don't need to know that.
Pope in goal, Trippier right back and captain, left back Target, two centre halves, Botman and Cher.
He's going with the 4.
Bruno, Joe Linton, Willock, Almiron, Wilson, and St Maximin. And I think we will draw 2-2.
Okay. And goal scorers?
I'm going to say Joe Linton and Wilson.
Fair enough, Billy. Scott says, let's help Dele Alli out. Let's not.
No.
Flumpy says, tall tales from under the bleachers, Paul. The rat wasn't Jordan Pickford, was it? Bill says, was it a mirror, Paul? Sean says, we have no more than 2 more windows to build up a top 4 team. Otherwise, our best players will get picked off. Jason says, the Rats have tattoos in Durham. Yes, they do. This one was all tatted up with bloody skulls and vampire faces and everything. It was terrifying. Samsonite says, first a dog, then a pig, now a bull. Just how big was that rat? Huge! Paul, don't look now. Is that a bat behind you? No, it's a fish tank. Whatever that was. Don't know what happened to my voice there. Tony says, bats, rats, and stats. Paul's biggest fears.
It's pretty accurate.
Jules says, Paul doesn't like to embellish stories. Oh, dear. Right.
There's the sharks behind you.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Lovely colours, but by God, they've got some teeth. Alex, was that your team that you had up before? That's what you're going with, is it?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna go with the back 5. I think Eddie Howe is gonna try and match them, and I think it's it's admirable, but it's dangerous. I think he's gonna go Pope, Target, Botman, Share, Trippier. So I think Byrne drops out. Not that he's done anything wrong. And then Bruno, Joe Linton, Willock in midfield with Maxi Wilson and Miggy. So very much what we're used to.
Me, then.
Yeah.
Score?
I think 3-1 City. I think we'll score. I think we'll give them a good game for somewhere between 40 minutes and an hour, and then there'll be too much. Even if we're focused for 90 minutes, they've got the quality to score through that focus anyway. You know, the kind of stuff De Bruyne can do in Holland, it might not matter. Like, I think we'll lose 3-1.
Clarkey thinks Wood will start up front. Clarkey, take your face. You know what to do with it.
I think Willock will score our goal, by the way.
Wow.
He's due one. He's keep shooting.
Do you remember Willock?
Will Lock.
Will Lock, yes. Let's hope he does well. Fun Maybe says, shout out to the Toon Review, one of my favourite fans channel. Thank you very much, matey. Bruce says, Newcastle win 3-2 will be a great watch and game. I think Paul and Stato and Billy and Danielle higher. Well, higher to you as well, Bruce.
If we win 3-2, I'll be having a heart attack on stream. You can guarantee that.
Oh, no.
And what for real this time?
Yeah.
So all you trolls can actually.
Fair enough. Go for it, my man. Right, Danielle.
Same team as the boys.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm in a quandary.
Oh.
Do I follow my heart? Do I follow my head?
It's that battle again, Danielle. It's that battle
it's
again.
Happening again. Like
who is coming out on top this time?
I'm gonna go 3-2 Newcastle.
Wow. Okay. And the goal scorers?
I think it's going to be Joe Linton, ASM, and Miggy with a little.
I'd love Miggy to score. I really would love Miggy to score.
I just wanted to flatten Grealish. I don't care if he scores. I just wanted to thump him.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Retro says bad refereeing will cost us this match. Always happens. Yeah.
Fair point.
I guess.
Oops.
Janok's going with a 2-0 win. Got to have faith.
Have we had a show since Mike Dean got banned from VAR?
No, we haven't.
Is he like
I tweeted it, and it's my favourite thing to say.
Forever.
I'm not sure if it's forever, but he came out with a statement today. He gave a statement as to why, and he deemed it at the time as. His quote is, "I saw him pull the hair of Cucurella, and I deemed it at the time not dangerous play." So he's. That doesn't make any sense in itself.
Don't deem it dangerous play, but it was a foul.
And then upon reflection,
should never have scored their goal.
And further reviews of the footage, I was wrong. Well, no shit, Mike Dean.
Does he talk like that? Does he, Alex?
I mean, he's not going to be talking like anything when we thump Tranmere next week. So
he must have thought that Cucurella's got a fucking wig if he didn't deem it as bad thing, wasn't he?
I don't know if he's permanently gone, but he's been removed from a VAR duty at the moment. And
we don't see how long it's for.
He was head of it. He's done.
Liam says, sorry to hear what happened, Paul. Hope you're all right now, mate. I am, yeah. I'm trying to get physically, I feel okay. Not 100% yet, but it's mentally, just frightened that something's going to just happen like that. It's scary, but I will get there. Francisco says they can beat us by 5 as long as Miggy scores by stealing the ball from Jacko. Yeah, be brilliant. It would be brilliant. Right, my team. Here we go. My team is Nick Pope. What did you put your 5 up for, Alex?
I just think you're going to go with the back 5 to be different to us 3. Just
I'm
in
not
case it's
actually.
Right.
I'm not.
Oh.
I think he might play back 5. I really do, but I'm going with Trippier and Matt Target. I will go with Botman and Share, but I have a funny feeling he'll play Burn and Share. I don't know why, but that's just a feeling I've got. The midfield 3, I'm going for Longstaff, Bruno Joelinton, and Miggy, Wilson, and Maxi.
That's a very fair shout about Longstaff, to be fair, for the same reasons I've said for the last 2 weeks.
Bloody hell, Alex, are you feeling all right tonight? I mean,
I think we're in some kind of like...
I think, but you're just making more sense at the moment. Maybe you're learning.
Bloody hell.
Maybe you're learning. That's a bit patronising.
Well, it is, but I've come to expect that from Clark Kent. Danielle, you were having internet issues when I read out a blaze of statistics, by the way. You would have been very impressed.
Oh, did you?
Head-to-heads, last Newcastle win, and head-to-heads in the Premier League, etc. Alex was well impressed. I tell you. I don't like the way that Willock has started this season. If I'm openly honest, I don't like his defensive game, which is why I've gone for Longstaff, because I think if Eddie tells Sean just to stick in that position, win the ball back, lay it off to Bruno or Sean, and get on with it. And I think he'd do a job there because he doesn't have to do anything difficult. Just tackle and lay the ball off. Just play that game.
On the flip side, Willock would also be quite useful as a late sub if we need more out.
Yeah, possibly.
So that works both ways.
Yeah, but also it puts Bruno a little bit further forward and can ping the ball for Callum making the runs.
Yeah, Longstaff can sit better than Willock can.
I mean, Longstaff was outstanding against Atalanta. I thought he had an outstanding game, so I'd have no problems.
He played really well, and he's done all right in pre-season. So I just think for that kind of job, I'd rather see Longstaff in there and play Bruno a bit further forward, where he can make a difference to the game. Because I think sitting in the position he has, the opening 2 games, Forest was a bit different because we had complete possession. We just dominated that game. But you saw against Brighton, and you will see if Bruno's there against Man City, he doesn't have the same impact on the game. And that's my worry. So that's why I'd go with Sean. But again, we just have to wait and see. And I'm going for a 3-1 Newcastle United win. So anybody that calls me negative can stick the finger up the arse until it tickles the tonsils. I don't see how more positive I could be. So there you go.
Is it 3-0? That's more positive. Could have said 4-1.
It's a Friday.
Billy, suck on my plums, please.
Wow.
Right, that is it for the
goal scorers.
Oh shoot, Callum with 2, and I'm going with a bullet header from Botman.
Bullet from Botman. That's a good headline for the future, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I do think that Elliot Anderson will see the pitch on Sunday.
Well, that would be nice.
I think once the game gets away from us, he will come on anyway.
Yeah. Janos' question for the panel: how many of your predicted team featured in last season's home game against Chelsea, against City? Not many.
No.
It's fair to say. Definitely. Julie says Billy's on fire tonight. Well, he normally is every single night, to be fair.
Yeah, he's just warming up for tomorrow night, that's why.
Yeah. Mega Syad says, I don't watch TV anymore, just the Toon review. Thank you very much.
Very kind.
Thank you to everybody that's watched the show tonight. If you have enjoyed it, please stick a like on it before you disappear. Just press the like button. It's just a 2-second thing. If all 865 of you that are still watching hit that like button now, that would be absolutely fantastic. So thank you. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, how could you not? How could you not? Please do hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. And, of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload or we go live. Tomorrow, there will, of course, be my press conference reaction video, which should be out around lunchtime. And then live, TTR Friday. Let's just hope for a nice one tomorrow night without any drama or any dramatic goings on. And we just have a nice, happy, laughable show. And to the what I can only describe as monumental bellends who decide to comment on the Toon Review Friday every time saying, "Oh, it's not very football-y, is it?" It's not meant to be. It's just meant that we'll talk a little bit about football. We have a laugh. We talk about other football teams and take the pee out of them, and just have a laugh. Breaking in the weekend, nice and having with banter and a bit of fun. So if you don't want to watch it, don't. Go and watch Coronation Street or EastEnders and bore your life. But if you want to have a laugh and a good start of the weekend, watch TTR Friday.
Yeah, we'll have a little sing along, don't we?
Nice. Billy always gets his guitar out. He's always playing with himself. That just came out wrong, but
that's not exclusive. That's not exclusive to TTR Friday, to be fair.
That's very true. That is very true. Yes.
And another round of Pope or No Pope, which you missed out on last week.
I did hear about that actually. I did hear about Pope or No Pope, so I'm looking forward to playing that tomorrow. Actually, so there you go. Yes.
Good, you might win out. That helped me. Tell you what, all those years of mass.
Well, yeah, it's fine. I'm looking forward to playing Pope or No Pope. What the hell's going to happen with Danielle's rant now in a new diplomatic position?
I'm going to have to sing something else.
We're going to have to, no, because I took a lot of time to do that little intro for you, Danielle. I'm not doing another one.
But I can't do a rant.
You can't.
They are bottom of the table.
No, I'm not ranting about men.
Yeah, but Daniel, Man United are actually bottom of the league. You are allowed.
You're such a bastard.
I know. I'm going to get trolled.
No, you can, Danielle. You can rant about the disgraceful Barnsley fans.
Yes.
The way they went on the lady physio, that was absolutely disgusting.
Everton and Man United are both in the bottom three at the moment.
That is a good point. Danielle, that is a good point.
It's funny.
You know what I feel like? I feel like you're trying to drag us into the dark side. That's what you're trying to do.
Would we do that to you?
You know what'll happen? I'll get a world record for the quickest ambassador to ever be fired, like from her game too.
No,
all it'll take is one thing.
They know what you bring to them. Simple as that. Jim says, any time with the Toon Review family is a great time. Thank you very much. Julie says, love TTR Friday, especially after a crappy week. In the pub all night tomorrow, so I'll catch up Saturday. TTR is fab, says Abs. Thanks, Abs. Junglington. What the hell? Junglingtings. Sorry for being a dick in the chat recently. I've been off my meds and acting out everywhere. I'm sorry, guys. Take care. I'm going to try and stay out of the comments till I'm more myself again.
Don't worry. I'm a dick most of my life, so it's all right.
Wow. Great show, Toon Review. Thanks. Nick Pope. Steve says, what? The show's about football? Well, normally it is, but TTR Friday it tends not to be. Mike says, great show, TTR Friday. Love it, but love all the shows. Relaxing before match. Thank you very much. Ab says, good for the ambassador image, knowing all those popes.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Indeed. Yes. State of the Union by Danielle. Purring and stroking with Danielle.
No.
Billy's mind might go somewhere else with that. So Jim says, rant on Sky Sports and Neville chatting shit on Manure. Or even better, Miggy scores and reveals under his shirt Grealish played like Rashford today. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Julie says, as I've said, skip rats, cat bashes, and Man U bottom of the league. Delicious. Yes. Francisco says, Toon Review rules. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. A fun stat to end, Alex?
Yeah, just about that. You stats are very, very important, but you should take them with a pinch of salt. As there's something very funny happening at the moment, and that Blackburn have the lowest expected goals in the Championship, and they are top. And West Brom have the highest expected goals, and they're in the relegation zone. Sure. So it doesn't always work like that.
Hang on, Danielle, that wasn't very diplomatic.
Look, it's a work in progress. I've told you.
Steve says, I'll be driving home from London tomorrow night, so I'll just be listening to the show on YouTube with the screen hidden. Don't make me laugh too much. Can't promise that. We can't promise that at all. Right. Thank you to the mod squad for a fantastic job again. And thank you to you three for your company tonight. We will be back at 8 o'clock tomorrow night with TTR Friday. Really looking forward to that. And don't forget to catch my video talking about Eddie's press conference. It will be the press conference action about lunchtime tomorrow. But in the meantime, guys, have a blasting Friday and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Good night.
Good night, guys.
That is.